Wondering how to get the most of your free new S-rank Harumasa? I got you, bro. To start though, I have to say that all the footage and everything that I'm going to talk about in this video is based on the creator beta server and therefore may not be final, but with that out of the way, let's get into it. So Harumasa is an electric attack agent and has a pretty straightforward kit and gameplay loop, but he still has mountains of text. So my goal for this video is to make that simple for you and have you go away knowing how to play him, what teams will work well, how to build him, essentially how to Harumasa. So let's move straight into how to play him, and Harumasa wants to spend as much time as possible in his awakened state, which is when he gets to go into his slash mode, because this is where his best multipliers are. And Harumasa has crit rate and crit damage multipliers in his core skill for only this attack, so you really want to be using it as much as possible. So how do we do that? Well, when playing as Harumasa, you just have to remember that he likes balls. I mean that he likes the little electro quiver balls, and he wants to create these during combat and then use them up with his arrow to X mark enemies. And when enemies are X marked, he's able to do his cool dash attack. And that's basically how he works. You want to generate the balls, suck them up, and then slash as many times as you can, because 2 balls are worth 1 slash. And then you generate more balls to use as more slashes, and so on and so forth. So let's run through how we generate the balls. His EX special will generate 6 balls. His chain attack will also generate 6 balls. His 5th basic attack generates 2 balls. His 5th basic attack after a chain attack generates 6 balls. Causing an anomaly generates 6 balls. Charge attack against a stunned or anomalied enemy will also generate 2 balls. And man, that's a lot of balls. And there is some tech to using them up faster than just charge attacking too. So when using his EX special, if you hold it down, Harumasa can immediately fire his arrow, consume the balls, and then you can go to town on slash mode. Now, you can only have 6 balls on field at one time, which is equal to Harumasa's 3 slashes. As you get to play Harumasa more, you'll find more ways than me, I am sure, of making the most of them, but it is possible to kind of chain together 6 balls onto another 6 balls, onto another 6 balls, into another 6 balls, to get around 12 slashes in during a stun window. You want to make sure that you have some balls up when you enter stun, and then you'll get the additional 6 from Harumasa's chain attack. You can do the slashes, you can charge attack to suck up the ones from the chain attack, and then 6 more from his 5th basic attack after the chain attack. You can then do more slashes, and then use his EX special to generate 6 more, and then slash again. Then if you have your ultimate, you can unleash it, and if not, try to get any additional slashes in. At this point, you may have also caused shock, resulting in an additional 6. So you can basically get 4 sets of dash slashes in on a stun window, maybe more, but in practice, I found out that I end up doing more like 3, and then my ultimate if I have it up, just to make sure that the ultimate doesn't get wasted, but I might have skill issue. And really, this is how you'll want to play him. Maximize his time in slash mode during the stun window, as that's when he'll be able to do most of his damage. His ultimate is also not bad in terms of its multiplier, so you will want to make sure that you get that in too. And I should also mention, and I normally assume that this is so obvious that I don't need to explain it, but for Harumasa, his dash attack is under his dodge skill, so you will want to upgrade that as much as you can as a priority. I also just want to explain Harumasa's additional ability, Overclock, and this is active when your squad also includes a stun or anomaly agent and boosts damage against stunned enemies or enemies under anomaly by 40%. You will always want this to be active, and it was important to mention before we discuss teams, which we'll talk about in just a moment, after this reminder that you probably aren't subscribed. Liking and subscribing can really help to support small creators like me on YouTube. If you also want to hang out with some chill peeps and ask for advice, you can join the Discord, and if you're interested in streams, then drop me a follow on Twitch. Now, in terms of Harumasa's teams, they range from very free-to-play friendly all the way up to super premium, but as he's a free unit, let's assume we want low investment and start with the free-to-play team, which is none other than Ambi and Nicole, which are characters given to you when you start the game. And I would say that this team can do a job of enabling Harumasa. Ambi hits stun, Nicole shreds resistance, and Harumasa unleashes everything he can during the stun window. So taking the Ambi and Nicole team as a basis, if you want to make changes here, you could include Chingy instead of Ambi to boost Harumasa's damage during the stun window, and you really will almost always want to run Harumasa with a stun agent because of his additional ability. Now, if we wanted to replace Nicole, it depends on the level of investment that you currently have, but I found Lucy, Rena, and Caesar to do very well in that slot. You could also run Caesar as the stunner with Lucy Lucy as the support, for example, so he's definitely got a few really good options, and some of them being really low-cost characters. But on the other side of things, his most premium team would be something like Harumasa, Chingy, Caesar, so 2 limited S ranks. But he can also be run with just the A ranks there. Ambi and Nicole do okay with him, and he's able to put out pretty respectable damage. But ALG, can't he also unleash his extra damage when the enemy is under an anomaly? Why can't we do that instead of having to stun? Well, the real answer here is that you're giving up too much to do so. For example, using Harumasa when an enemy is affected by an anomaly is just not enough damage to consider. For example, if you on-fielded Yanagi instead, then not only would she do more damage, but she would also contribute more anomaly and therefore disorders. However, if you don't have Yanagi but you want to run Harumasa with Miyabi, for example, you can. It just never felt great to me, mostly because Miyabi would benefit more from another anomaly character rather than Harumasa, even someone like Piper. But you can check out my Miyabi guide at the end of this if you're looking for Miyabi team ideas. So yeah, you will want to run Harumasa as a burst DPS during the stun window. The anomaly thing may very well pay off in the future for him, but right now it doesn't feel like it's too much worth considering. That isn't to say though that you can't persevere with it if that's all that you have. It can still clear in around 2 minutes. It's just that Miyabi is doing a lot of the lifting, kind of like their real life relationship, I guess. So that brings us onto the build. Harumasa is pretty straightforward and actually has a couple of options depending on what kind of drive discs you have, but the primary recommendation from me will be Hormone Punk as the 4-piece. If you're running Harumasa with stun agents, this means that during the stun window he'll get a 25% attack buff for 10 seconds. This means that you will want to keep him off field for the stunning, of course, and make sure he's not on slot 1 of your team. The other 4-piece option would be the Thunder Metal, but Harumasa doesn't really apply enough anomaly on his own to make this set functional. Now if you're running him with Ambi or Chingy, it can work, but if you hit stun window and the enemy isn't shocked, then you just don't get your buffs, and that blows. In terms of 2 pieces, Thunder Metal will feature here as the recommended 2-piece for the electric bonus, but you could also consider Hormone Punk, Astral Voice, because they both have the attack buff, or Woodpecker if you need extra crit rate, which brings us on to drive slots. In slot 4, you'll want either crit rate or crit damage, whatever you need more of. In slot 5, you'll want electric damage bonus, and slot 6 attack. It's pretty simple to build, but you'll really want decent crit stats as your substats to make the most of Harumasa, and that's probably where you'll need to spend a lot of your time upgrading and farming. Now, you may want to consider Harumasa's signature Wenjin, seeing as you'll be getting Harumasa himself for free, and it's really good on him. The advanced stat is crit damage, and it provides crit rate buffs from its effect. However, there is an event agent, the Markata Desire, which will be available in 1.4 and gives crit rate, and its effect provides attack buffs. And in practice, it is worse, but it's really not that far away. And in terms of other A-rank Wenjins, Anton's engine, the Drill Rig Red Axis, does suit Harumasa well, but without any crit rate or damage, it will make him a bit trickier to build. If you're wanting to use Harumasa and you're waiting for the event Wenjin and want to use something for now, and you don't have Anton's engine, then you could use Starlight Engine, Gilded Blossom, or the only other crit rate A-rank attack engine, which is the Cannon Rotor from the Battle Pass. But I definitely wouldn't recommend getting the Cannon Rotor just for Harumasa, seeing as you'll be getting the event engine eventually. And that's it. It's pretty amazing that we're getting Harumasa for free and that he has some decent low investment Wenjin and team options. I think if you're new to the game and don't have a damage dealer on your second team, he could be a really good choice, especially if you only have free options of Ambi and Nicole. In comparison to other limited S ranks, his damage output does feel lower than a Ju Yuan, for example, but hey, he's free and better than Anton. So if you want to check out my Miyabi guide, it should have popped up. Thank you so much for watching the video. Remember to like and subscribe. Bet an average luck on all your pulls. Pour responsibly. Stay weird. Bye. Bye.